Hello and welcome there. This is Jasneet Singh, also known as an innovative coder, and a little bit introduction of mine. I'm the founder of Innovative Labs. My name is Jasneet Singh. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on all of these platforms. I'm also available on Instagram. I have a huge community of more than 1 lakh people. It's actually 100,000 people. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter. Not on TikTok. Hopefully, and I'm also on Behance and Dribble. Also, you can reach out to me on YouTube. I'm very much active in the comment section down below. If you have any queries, if you have any doubt, if you have anything to give me as a feedback. Also, please hit that like button. It's a real motivation for me. Now, moving on. In this session, we will be actually coding this website. We will be actually programming this website just using HTML and CSS. This is the extended version of the design part we did, which was in Figma. We developed this, we designed this complete website. This is actually not a responsive website, but I have tried my best to keep it responsive. To keep it responsive at least to iPad, not on mobile, but yes, you can use it on iPad. Right? Okay, now what we will be doing, we will be diving deep into the code of this, and then we will be deploying it on Vercel, and we'll be doing it all in this video itself. If you want to find the code, then I would give the link in the description, or you can check out my GitHub, wherein it is innovative coder /profile _ revisited. This is actually the link of this complete stuff. Also, I have given the link of my Vercel app, where I have hosted this website. So you can just check it out. So Vercel is actually a service. If you guys don't know about Vercel, let me just do a quick review of Vercel. So Vercel is this thing. Vercel is actually an what do you call it? It's actually a hosting website, just like your Heroku. I think you guys must have heard about Heroku. If not, then you are very new to this industry. I would say. Deployment is wherein you actually put your website in production environment. So there are two environments, where you have development environment and you have a production environment. So production is when the outside world actually sees your website, they can actually use your website, right? Okay. Not going much deep into what is Vercel, what is Jamstack, and why we use Vercel. So it's actually, Vercel is for Jamstack, but Jamstack is a kind of stack wherein you have stacks like Mern, Fern, Jam, Pern, right? All of these stacks. Vercel is specifically made for Jamstack, for static websites, for websites which are actually server-side rendered website, right? Using Gatsby or Next.js. Next.js is the main stuff here, but not going into all of that. That thing can be kept for another time, but we will be deploying our project on this Vercel. Okay, I would tell you after we code it. So let's first jump into the code. What we'll do would be, this is my terminal. I actually use a ZSH terminal with the item layering. Now I have this new _YT named repository, or not repository, a folder actually. And in this, what I will do would be, I'll just do code dot. I am actually using VS Code for this project. So now here I have a blank VS Code. Okay, it is welcoming me. What I'll do would be, I'll quickly create an index.html file, and I'll just pour in my, okay, I don't know what happened. Okay, yeah, it was made. I'll just pour in my emit code. Okay, what am I doing? Yeah, let me just change the name. I'll do, coder. Well, actually, this is the title. Okay, so what did I put in the title? Okay, I put it as Jasneet Singh and Innovative Coder. So let me just do same stuff. I'll do Jasneet Singh. Okay, and let me just delete this thing. Or wait, what I'll do would be, I'll open this thing with a live server. So live server is this thing wherein what you have is, you get the hot reload, kind of similar to hot reload if you don't understand hot reload, then it's actually like I'll just save this file and this thing will get reloaded. Okay, and it's very common. Live server thing is very common, so I don't think I need to just talk about this as well. So now let's just dive into the code itself. I'll first lay out a complete HTML structure and then we'll go into the CSS part of this. Okay, so now first I have my image tag and I had my banner image. Okay, so now we have our image folder over here wherein we have two images, ic.png and profilepic.png. These are both the files exported from Figma itself. So now here let me give the banner image, and the banner image, the name is img/profilepic.png. I'll give an alt text as banner image. Now I'll also give it a class because I need to actually customize this one, so I'll give it a class of banner. Okay, I can also do it for img tag, but let's just give it a class because we also have this one, and this is our profile pic. Okay, and if we see it now, yeah, that looks cool. Mind it, we are currently just structuring the page, so we have a header h1 as Jasneet Singh, and now we'll have a UL. So let's have a UL. Okay, my typos, man. Let's have a slash UL. Let's have li. Okay, let me just save it. Let's have an li. So first li option 8 again, and then I'll do entrepreneur. I don't know if spelling is correct or not. Not thinking much about spelling over here. And the second one was web developer. I hope it was web developer. Let me just see the design. So where is the design? Okay, yeah. And what I think, what should I do? I'll just clear it off, and I'll have both of these things side by side. Okay, now here you can look the design as well as the code. So let me just, so I think I'm structuring it in a decent way right till now. Then I'll, okay, not over here, we have one more li, and with this li we would be having what? We are having social media influencer. Okay, now one more li, and in this li we will be having ML researcher. Okay, option 8. Now with another li, and this is I think the last one, which was design, graphic design. So let's just have a graphic designer, and we would be having option 8 or alt 8. You can use alt if you are on Windows, or you can use option if you are on Mac. Okay, now after this we have this code, right? So after UL we are actually having a paragraph tag, right? And in this paragraph, let me just copy this stuff. Well, actually what you can do is you can use these quotes as using your pseudo classes, which are before and after. But for just the sake of simplicity and designing it quickly, I'm using it over here like this. But you can actually use it using your pseudo classes before and after, and then putting these quotes in content. Okay, I am actually not doing that. I'll just give it a class as, let me just name it quote. Okay, now we'll have another p, which is for this Eric Hoffer stuff, and we'll give it Eric. Let me just copy it here. Class as credits, and we'll have another p tag. Okay, let me just copy the complete stuff. It would actually won't waste time, right? So let's do this p dash. Yeah, done. I think it's done now. Let me just have a look. Yeah, everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. It's just a skeleton. We will be surely having the stylings. Now we have one more. So you can, for this you can give p or span, whatever you want. For me, p is more easier because I would be designing the p. So I'll just give something, and we'll give it a font of black dot, so no issues. And we'll give it class. Okay, class as what do you say? Please call it signature. Yeah, that looks good. Now let's just give the designation or class as designation, and let's have another p tag. Let's give it labs, and let's just give this class as designation, because we can have the same, because these are actually styled similarly. We could also do it in this complete one p tag and just give the spans. Yeah, you can do it in any way you want. So now we have the complete skeleton. Okay, that looks good. Now let's just have our CSS file. So we have main.css. Okay, and with the here we also need to link the file. So let's first use link tag, and here we'll do main.css. Okay, and inside our main file, now what we need to do is we first let's completely remove the margins and paddings. So margin, for the safe side, actually I think it's removed by default in Mozilla, but for other browsers you need to do that. Normally developers use Google Chrome. I actually also use Google Chrome for development, but for normal tasks I actually prefer this thing. What do you have? Mozilla, right? Now I text align this as a center. Okay. Text. Sorry. That's why I thought why my kite is not working. Yeah. So kite is actually a very good app, extension you can use for your stuff. Okay. So let's first have the banner part. Now let's see. Okay. So everything is completely centered. We just need to modify our banner. So what I will be doing would be, for banner, I'll give a complete height as auto, because height should be auto adjustable, because we have a constant width which is of course 100%, right? Now you see over here it's completely 100%. We'll also give one more stuff which is actually known as Z index. So because we need our profile picture layered over the banner, right? So what Z index would do would be Z index is 1, and for profile picture we will give the Z index as 2. So when we give Z index as 2, then it would actually overlay the profile picture onto that banner, right? Now let's just give profile pic. We'll give it a position as relative, of course. We'll give it a top position as -60 pixels, or you can actually use rems for this, but I'm actually using pixels, and from now on I'll use rems so that you get an idea of both the units. We'll give it a display as block, which makes sense, right? And we'll give it a margin left as auto, and margin right as auto. This is actually used for when you need to center an image. So so that's why you use it, and then we overlay it onto the what. You can also give it 3 or 2. So now one thing which was left was actually putting in the Poppins style. So we have this Poppins font we are using for our website. So what we'll do would be we'll have this Google font Poppin. So let me just go to Google Fonts, and we'll grab up the Poppins font and we'll put it inside our HTML code, and then we can just style it in our main.css file. Workflow should be clear. Poppins, yeah, this is the font, and let me just grab some of the fonts. So I'll have the 300, the 400, the 500, and the 700, right? And you can embed it. Just copy the stuff, and in CSS also you can use this. Just copy the stuff and paste it in your head. Okay. After this, just paste it over here. Okay, that's done. Now the font is added. So I just need to copy this stuff from main. So I just need to copy this CSS part and put it inside my main.css, which I'll do shortly. Right, I'll just copy this part and then I'll put it over here. Okay, that's good. Now the complete font of the, you see, complete font has changed to Poppins. Okay, and if we, for this, I think for this this one, this is actually our signature, we need to use Blanca, so we'll import that as well, and we'll do stuff with that. Now just let's just move on to the next part, which is actually stylizing our header, introduction, and the quotes and all of these stuff, right? So what I will do would be I'll style the header. I have position, and we'll give a position as relative. Makes sense because we need to center it. Then we give a text align as center. Well, if you guys are thinking that how am I able to get these predictions, then I use a lot of extensions. So one extension I use a lot is known as Kite, which is autocomplete extension. So you can also download that. Now we'll have the color, and let's just copy the color. Okay, what was the color? This. So we have a hash and we have color. Yeah, that's it. Now we have our UL. So for UL, what we would be actually doing would be we are having padding. We'll give a padding of 0. Well, we have actually done that in what do you call this body, but safe side we do that in UL as well. Now we do text align as center, center. Then we have background color as black. Okay, which makes sense. And of course the text color should be white. Okay, let's see our UL. So what we need to do is we need to use pseudo classes for this stuff. So I'll have my before pseudo class, and we'll also give a little bit of styling in pseudo, wherein I'll have an empty content. Okay. What happened? Okay. That's fine. We'll have background, not the color but the background. Simple background. We'll have it as black. Okay. And we'll have a display as block. Now when you do a display as block over here, it will eventually get your. So viewport height I'm giving for viewport width actually, sorry, the height, viewport width, so that it is a little bit responsive for our iPads and stuff, not for mobile phones but for iPad. Okay. Now what we'll do would be, we'll also give, okay, so before is done. Now we'll also give an after UL. Okay. So let me just do it like this. We'll give it a, no, not padding, we'll give it of course content, which is null. Content, and we'll give it a background again. So the properties are mostly same, I think. Background should be for the color, but the background should be black. And let me just copy this stuff, right? Because this is same. We need to add some similar elements. Okay. This looks good. This looks good. Okay, so now coming on to my LI. Now, first thing first, we need to display it as LI. And then, as soon as I display it, not this something, display. Okay. Display inline. Now, what we'll do, we will give the margin as 1 rem, which I think by default it's 16 pixels or 12 pixels. I'm not actually sure, but it's somewhat like that. So rem is actually, we will make another video about rem and m and all of these units. Now you have your font size as 1.5 rem. Okay. Now, what was the next class we have done till now? Okay. No, it was not code. Yeah, it was this let me introduce part. Did we do that? No, we actually didn't put it in our HTML. So I think we have missed out one part when we had this introduction part. So let me introduce myself, this thing. So I think we have left that. So we need to put that, right? So what we'll do would be, we'll have a p tag over here. We'll put me introduce myself, and we'll have a class as intro. Okay, makes sense? Yeah. Now we'll just style the part dot intro. So first thing is that we need to center it. So first thing is we need to actually align it to center. Okay, which is actually by default body is doing that. But for the safe side, we do that. 1 rem padding. Then of course we have this thing in bold, so we'll pick up the font so we had the Poppins font as 500. We picked that from Google Fonts, right? So we'll have a font weight of 500, and we'll have a font size. Well, actually this font size was my tried and tested one. I am not picking the font from your Figma, right? You need to see that, because actually I have done all of these calculations beforehand in rem, and Figma gives me in pixels. So yeah, now I need to do a dot quote. We have the quote stuff. Next line already is in center, so no need to give that. We'll give the padding. What do we have here? So it's italic actually. Okay, so one thing is we need to give it a font weight as 500 and font size as 1.3 rem. Now we need to style it, so we'll give it a font style, not text decoration. Style as italic. Let me just have a look at that. Okay, Looks really good. Looks really good. Now what we need to do is we are having a font style. Now we need to justify it. So as you can see that my code is actually justified. So what we'll do would be we'll justify it according to center. Okay. So justified according to center, and then of course because we have a lot of margin on either the sides, so margin left we would give a huge margin of 10 rem. Actually 11. And we'll also give a margin right as again it's actually the same 10 rem. So now if you see it's actually justified, right? Let me just have the credits styled as well. So credits, yes, dot credits, and what we'll do would be we'll actually give it a styling wherein see the font weight, font style, and font size would be completely same as our code, right? So let me just copy and paste that. But the margin left and margin right would actually be different. So, and also this is one thing that text align is also towards the right side, okay, which makes sense. Now what we have is text align given, margin, we'll give it a margin right because we are actually floating it towards the right side, right? So we'll have this thing. Let me see. Yeah, looks good. Looks super awesome. Okay, now let's just have our P tags. Let's just have our paras. Okay, so we'll give it a general text alignment towards the left side, which gives it a para look. Okay, and then we'll have a margin left of, let's say, 10 rem, which synchronizes it with our code, and the margin right also as 10 rem. Margin bottom, because with each paragraph you have some kind of spacing, so we are also giving it a margin bottom of a little bit margin, 1.5. Okay, and now if you see, now this looks super awesome, right? Now the turn is of our signature, guys. So let's have the signature. What we'll do would be we'll have a font family. So the thing is that I have this font inbuilt in my Mac, but if you don't have this, so you can do the same stuff as we did with pop-ins, that go to Google Fonts, just search Blanca, import it and put it inside your link tag, and then just do that stuff, right? But I have this thing inside my font, so I just need to give this as Blanca. Okay, and we need to give the font size, which is try and test it 3 rem, works fine for signatures, and we also need to give the text decoration as outlined. So we are not actually picking up the, what do you call, not the style. So we are actually not picking up the image and then putting it under that stuff. We are just doing it this way, which also looks good. And now we have our designation. So as you remember that both of the stuff, which was my name and my designation, both had the class as designation, right? So we'll give a font family. As Davis. So this is a font I really love. I mean, like, I don't know, I am in love with this font. Give font size as 1.5 rem. We give the margin bottom. To give the margin bottom as well as 0 rem. Don't need any margin. As you can see, currently it has a margin top. So we also need to give the margin top as 0. Yeah. and we need to change the color, and let's make it the color we decided. So what was the color? Yeah, it was 787, right? So hashtag, this is the color, voila, and we are done. Okay, so let me just do one thing. Let me just go to my index file, and inside body let me just add a little bit of okay. So that thing actually it gives a little bit of spacing beneath that. But looks good, looks exactly how we had this thing. A little bit of the minor differences you can see, but it's exactly same. Okay, now the part is we need to deploy that. Okay, so we need to deploy that. Actually this video is too long, so we won't be covering this and that thing in this video, but in the next video we'll be actually seeing how to deploy, how to push it to GitHub first thing, and then after pushing it to GitHub, how to deploy it using Vercel. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys.